Welcome back, y'all. It's Jack. And boy, do I have the pre-trail jitters. So naturally, I've just been combing through my gear day in and day out, trying to figure out what's going to be the best for each section and if there's anything that I've forgotten. Today, I want to do an updated gear list. You can watch the older one here, but to be honest, this one's going to be more in depth and it's going to be everything that can be possibly switched in and out as I'm going along this through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. Starting with the big three, backpack choice remains the same. I will be taking the Z-Packs 50 liter. This is big enough for everything. I've put my bear canister in it. I've put my updated gear in it. Should be able to carry everything, so I'm satisfied with this pack for now. I do have the Crown 60 liter that will back me up in case I want to bring some more stuff into the Sierra, because I'm not going into that thing unprepared. If I have to carry extra weight, so be it. Sleeping system. I have the Zen Bivy 25 degree quilt included with the top sheet. I just slept with this thing in Utah when it got to about 29, 28 degrees, and I slept super comfortable. But I also have a sleeping bag liner that's on the way that should add anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees. So with that and this quilt, I believe I'll be very toasty and warm on trail. Still have the same pillow, the Hike Ensure ultralight pillow. This is just part of my sleep system, so I thought I'd include it. In here is my sleep pad, the Nemo Quasar 3D. It's got an R value of 3.3. I know people question this choice because it does seem impractical to carry such a heavy sleeping pad with such a low R value. But for me, this sleeping pad is really great. I've never had a bad night's sleep on this thing, and it was a game changer going from the Nemo Tensor to this, and that had an R value of 4.4. So this thing keeps me warm down to 25 degrees, and it's really comfortable. I get a good night's sleep, and that's what's important to me. Now for the Sierra section, I am considering getting an X pad, which has an R value of 8.8, and it's the same weight as that. So I'm most likely going to end up with that when I get to the Sierras, just so I can stay very, very warm, even if the temps get down to practically 10 degrees or lower. With an R value of 8.8 or 8.0, whatever it is, I cannot imagine myself being cold on trail. For my tent, I have the Z-Packs Duplex. It's a 2-person tent. I really like it. It's light. It was pricey, but I have about 1,000 miles on it now, and it's still going very strong. I particularly love this because I can bring all of my stuff inside at night, obviously besides my food, and this tent has worked really great, so this is the one I'm sticking with. When it comes to food storage, I have two things. I have the BV 450 500, and I have stuffed about 12,000 to 15,000 calories in this thing pretty easily. I think this size will be okay. If it's not big enough for the stretches that I plan on doing in the Sierras, I will rent a larger size. This will be my primary food bag on the trail. This is my Ursack. It is a 15 liter. Love this thing. Tie it to a tree. As long as you do it right, critters won't get in your food. Water filtration system. I have the Knock bladder here. It's 3 liters. This will help me with the water carries in the desert. And I have my Sawyer squeeze. I brought a new one for the trail because the flow rate on this one is getting pretty bad. I will also be bringing the back flush device, and I carry it all in just this little mesh bag. Cooking on trail. I'm gonna have 2 approaches here. I'm gonna be cold soaking and I'm gonna be cooking. When I'm cooking, I'm gonna be using this Stanley cook set. It's really easy. It just folds out like this. And then I have a cup and my little pocket rocket stove inside. All together, I think this thing weighs about 10 ounces or maybe 8 ounces. It's pretty lightweight and it's served me well. I've obviously cooked a lot with it. It's starting to show wear and tear. For cold soaking, don't have anything special, just a little Talenti jar here that works great. I used to have a bigger cold soaking jar that I used on the Colorado Trail and on the Uinta Highline Trail, but I found that it was just too big and it actually made cleaning it out kind of a mess, so I went down to a smaller size. And with every cook set, you gotta have some sort of spork, I guess. unless you eat with your hands. Kudos to you. But I use the little Snow Peak Spork. Been using this thing since I started backpacking. Now let's talk clothing. I'm going to go through every article that I could possibly have on the trail. It doesn't mean it's gonna all be with me at once, but it will be rotating in and out of my pack based on current trail conditions. For headgear, I'll be wearing this trusty hat, and I have my picture beanie here for my eye mask and my warmer headgear when I'm cold. Probably be bringing my trusty little buff here for cleaning off my feet or putting it on the back of my neck to keep the sun off. I really like this thing. It's coming with me. One pair of Nike Hyper Warm tights. These things are great for sleeping and even using as a layer when I want to put them underneath my shorts and it might be kind of chilly. The classic Air Force shorts that I hike in and absolutely love. I'll never hike in another pair of shorts. When these finally die on me, it's gonna be sad, but I have like 20 pairs, so I'm not really worried about it. I have a little pair of thin gloves here. They can still touch electronics, so they make, waking up in the morning if it's kind of chilly, nice and convenient. I might consider a thicker pair for the Sierras. I will be carrying 3 pairs of socks. I will have 2 pair of darn tough mid socks that are actually in the dryer right now, and I will be carrying a pair of my new waterproof socks. These things are crazy. They're apparently super breathable. They had great reviews online, and I put them on my hand and ran them under the sink for probably, 5 minutes and pulled my hand out and it was completely dry. They also go up pretty high, so considering these for the Sierras, and then if I really want to go extreme, I might get a pair of snow gaiters. Just that way when I'm trudging through snow all day, I can just stay warm, and I think that's the most important thing. I also have never tried these, but I got a pair of Dirty Girl gaiters for the desert and other sections because I do get a lot of rocks in my shoes when I hike, maybe because I kind of don't pick up my feet that well, and it's been kind of annoying to take off my shoe and dump the rocks out, and then if I leave them in for too long, I get blisters. So I figured these weigh virtually nothing, why not try them out? I have my Patagonia fleece. This thing is very, very light, and it would do awesome for a insulating layer beneath my Torrid or my puffer, and it will keep me very, very warm if the temperatures get very, very cold. I have a pair here of waterproof pants. These things are also pretty thin and actually not as heavy as you'd think, but like I said, I'm not gonna expense any weight in the Sierras. I'd rather stay warm and dry and then be wet and cold. My favorite shirt to hike in is this Columbia Silver Ridge. It's got about 800 miles on it now and no tears or any, complaints. It's great, very versatile, love this thing. I will be wearing this guy all through the desert. It's an Outdoor Research Echo, I believe. Very thin, covers up my face and neck and my ears when I put the hood up, especially when I use the brim of the bill of my hat. So it's super breathable, I can dry out quick. I will be using this a lot. And then I have my newly found Torrid from Enlightened Equipment. This is the 10D, I believe. I love this thing. I started using it on my last trip, as you all saw in that video, and it's so light and it keeps you so warm. And the thing is I would hike with it all day, and unless I was doing heavy climbs, I wouldn't really get hot. And then when it was cold and it was windy, I stayed really warm. So I feel like this thing does a good job of breathing and keeping you warm and protecting you from wind. So all around, just an awesome jacket. I'm really happy with this purchase. For shoes, I'll be using the Lone Peak 6. I am going to use my old pair. I still think they've got some life in them. I think I can get another 250 miles, and then I will just have pairs in the van, or Jackie will ship me new pairs as they just wear out on trail. Lastly, I have a little poncho in here in this stuff sack. I don't even know the name brand, but this thing acts as almost like a sauna when it gets really cold and rainy. I don't expect much rain on the PCT, but it's light, it keeps me warm. I got rained on so much on the Colorado Trail, and this thing kept me alive. It almost kept my body heat trapped inside the poncho, and it goes over my pack, so it keeps my pack dry as well. Another little clothing item are my sunglasses. I have some croquis or whatever they're called to keep them around my neck, so I can just do this and do that. And I don't know if I'm gonna bring these sunglasses. These are like my old military ones that are polarized. They're cheap, they're super durable. Okay, let's talk kind of random things that don't fall into any specific category. I will probably bring this through the desert. This is just a off-brand little sun umbrella. I have my micro spikes. I might get crampons if I have to. I'm just gonna wait and see and hear from other hikers what's going on in the Sierras. My ice axe, it's a Camp Corsa, pretty light. I've played around with it a little bit. I might even go out to the Rockies and practice self-arresting again because it's been a while and I want to be, like I've said, as safe as possible. Another kind of little random gizmo is my mini little seat pad. You know I like this thing very much. Just got this today. It is a bug net. I hear that Oregon's pretty miserable without one, and with the higher snowpack this year in possibly Washington, and Oregon looks to be about normal, but I don't want to get eaten alive. Like, this thing weighs 2 ounces or 1 ounce. Why not bring it? Electronics, probably my favorite part. I have a brick for charging things. I'll be carrying my headphones, but I only use one at a time. That way I can at least hear what's going on around me. I have the camera, the Canon 90D that is right in front of me right now. Small little Energizer headlamp. Nightcore 10,000 milliamp battery. This thing works very solid, pretty light. Charger here for my camera batteries. My Garmin InReach, a bunch of miscellaneous cords, and my GoPro. So this is a total experiment. I will see how I like it in the first 100, 200 miles. But I got this little solar panel. This is really just a peace of mind, backup. You know, I have a lot of electronics, so why not have a little extra juice? It doesn't weigh much. I think it weighs 6 ounces. And from what I can tell, these work really well. I can just hook it onto my bag here and use it during the day. And if it's cumbersome and if it's kind of clunky, I'll get rid of it. But something new that I've added. Test it out. Last and certainly not least, my toiletries. I have this little green bag that I've been carrying since I started backpacking. Tiny bit of toilet paper. I really use a bidet. My trowel, my little toothbrush here, sanitizer, little thing of soap. I have toothpaste, and I will have some ibuprofen slash weak hydrocodone from my surgery for a worst case scenario. That's everything, y'all. I really can't think of anything I didn't include. If you can think of something that would be useful to me that I didn't include in this list, you can drop it down below. I'm always open to suggestions. You all have been super helpful. I always like feedback. I think there's people with plenty of experience out there that probably know better and more efficient gear than I do. Thank you all for watching, and once again, this doesn't mean I'm carrying all of this stuff at once. This is just all the possible gear that can get rotated in and out for the duration of my thru hike. Until the next one, y'all.